I tried to get on earlier, but my plans didn't work out. Wasn't feeling good, but now that I feel better, I'm gonna start talking about the different things that I found out about this night vision unit, which is called the Z9157. So, with that being said, we're gonna jump into it. Make sure I hold the camera right. So, a couple of things have happened since then. I'll do a little quick recap. When I originally purchased the unit, I had an issue with this particular Rhino mount, and it's a good mount, but it doesn't work for the night vision unit that I have. So I said, this looks a lot like a PVS 7. So I went and purchased one of these. And this should fit right here because should be the right mount, unless this is the other. There is another mount that looks similar to this bayonet style, but it's not quite the same. So maybe that's what it is. Either way, it wouldn't work. So instead of me just buying mounts one after another, I just decided to purchase this mount, which is a Wilcox mount, which is what I should have had in the first place, because the mount that goes on the night vision has a dovetail anyway. So that's the one that I should have purchased. And this is a clone, obviously, because I think this thing would have been like $700 if it was the genuine one. And it does say Wilcox, but I know it's not authentic based on the price. I purchased it from Amazon for like about 60 bucks, and it's working perfect. The issue that I had originally was I could not install it. So I did a video earlier when I purchased the unit, and I finally got the mount trying to install it, but I couldn't. It's just really tight. So because of that, I thought I had the wrong one, but I didn't. I just had to work at it. So don't file this or do any of that or sanding if you can't get it to fit. More than likely, you're installing it improperly. The only thing I would do if you're trying to get it in, I may put a little grease or something, a little silicone grease. It's supposed to fit tight like that, because even if you hit the button accidentally to release it, the mount shouldn't just quick release and fall off, because that would be stupid. I mean, you don't want it to just fall off and then your nice pair of night vision goggles that you just purchased are broken, right? So don't file it or anything like that. You want to make sure that the fit is pretty tight so that you won't end up damaging your night vision. That's the first thing. So now that I got that ironed out, we'll get more into this mount. I don't know the issue that I had with them originally, but like I said, it's always a problem with finding that. So if you're going to purchase, just get this style of mount. I'm going to stick it up. And it fits perfect. The only other issue that I had is that I'm trying to get the night vision out. This piece here, that the amount they provide is crap. It works, but it's not the best because for whatever reason, when they manufactured it, it's different than the other dovetail mounts. It's on here a little wobbly. I put tape on here to kind of alleviate that, but it still has a little wobble. And just to give you an idea, like if you look at this mount, it fits on here perfect. Let's see, can I get it to do it? It goes on no problem, no wobbles or anything, right? So let me take this off. Pushing it one hand. There we go. Comes off fine. And if I put this mount on, let's see here. So when I stick it on, okay, it locks in place, but it still has a little play and wobble in it, which it shouldn't have, but it does. That's because it's slightly different. I'll probably at some point see if I can 3D print one. And I could just use a mount like this on it. I mean, I can cut this one off and just drill and tap and just screw another one on. That shouldn't be that hard to do. But I decide exactly what I want to do for it. So let me put this box out of the way. Other than that, this mount on here is pretty good. It's stable, so I can walk around with it. I've solved most of the issues that I had with this unit originally. The problem that I ran into, since it's new, it's not any forums or really anything to kind of explain to me how to get started. It does come with a decent manual and nice pictures, but it doesn't really answer the questions that I really want. And sometimes when stuff is translated, even though it's written in English and Chinese, it's just like when you kind of Google translate stuff, it's kind of like in that Chinesium type deal where that when you're reading it, sometimes the things doesn't make sense and what you want to know isn't really covered. Because of that, it was some issues that I had with it originally, but I've solved them. And if you want to buy one of these for yourself, just follow along with the things that I've said in my other videos that'll help you out. And that way you can get started. Mainly that the issue with this one is the battery. I learned which battery that it needed. And it's the 3.7 volts, 18650 TCR. And it's 220, wait, no, 2,200 milliamps. And it also has 2022.03 written on the battery. That one works fine. So if you're trying to find a battery for this unit, that's the one you're going to want. Obviously, it's easier just to get the Wilcox mount. If you want to get it where that you can find a mount that's going to work with the mount on the unit, just buy the Wilcox mount from the get-go. And then you won't have the issue unless you know exactly which one that it needs to fit. Since I didn't know that, I just get the Wilcox mount, which is easier. Do yourself a favor and just buy you a cheap ballistic helmet. If you, I mean, like, here's the deal, right? It's not going to matter what type helmet you're using. If you're just using a helmet to hold your night vision, it doesn't matter if it's a ballistic helmet or a bump helmet. The reason why I purchased this helmet is because this mount here is metal and this railing is metal, not plastic. So, based on that fact alone, it was worth me paying for it. And yes, this ballistic helmet is I believe it was about like 80 or $90, but the only purpose this ballistic helmet serves is to hold my night vision. I'm not trying to protect my head. I don't really see the benefit of a bump helmet unless you're riding in an ATV or something, because if only thing you're doing is using it to hold your night vision, it doesn't make any sense that you're going to buy a bump helmet unless you don't want the added weight on your head, which is a good point. So if that's the case, just purchase the bump helmet. But it's easier just to buy this helmet that's got all the stuff on it and you're done. And just to give you some kind of idea what a real bump helmet would, probably not bump helmet, sorry for that. What a real ballistic helmet would, not a real, sorry. A US manufactured, I'm doing the air quotes, a US manufactured ballistic helmet. That's going to probably cost you over $1,000. I'm not exactly sure, but like my son's, he's in the guard, and the helmets that they have are look just like this, and it's this type of mount. So that's what you can do if you want to save yourself some trouble. Now, when we came with the night vision unit, and this is digital night vision, so this is not analog. So everybody should know, or most people know, it's not true night vision. It's in fact a digital camera. But the thing about the digital camera, it's on the decent end of digital cameras. I'm not going to do it or take footage of the camera in here tonight because I'm in my office and it's too hard for me to cut the lights out in here because I have it lit for the to be able to see for filming, right? And I have my other backlight on and everything like that, so it's just too much trouble. I am going to do video in a dark environment later on, a better video showing everything off, and you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like in darkness and kind of low light conditions. But the camera does look pretty good. The thing I like about this one versus what you would normally look at that's digital, which would be like a NV30, no, it's an NVG30, or the PVS 69s. I don't like the square screens. This screens in here are round, so that's good. I'm just gonna lower it a little bit. Is that the right button? It's kind of hard to do it. There we go. Hold on here. Let's see here. I want to press the right button. There we go. It's easy if I use this hand. So let's bring her down. Okay, so good. She locked into place. So here she is, right? This is what it looks like with the Wilcox mount. And that's just my chair, right? Because I'm resting my arm on it. So it sounds like I'm doing something else, but that's what it is. But yeah, so that's what we have here. It's a decent mount. Obviously, you're probably familiar with it. You know, I can adjust it, bring it backwards and forth. I can also let it up, and I can also can raise or lower it with this lever right there. So it's a fairly decent mount, and when you put it down, it locks into place. So that's fairly decent. I'm enjoying this so far. I just got to get out there in the woods and test it. I wanted to play around with this unit before you get some of the bigger channels that normally poo stuff like this. You know, they're known for like the boo tubing because they're actually really a lot of the channels that do night vision, they actually sell night vision equipment or they work for night vision manufacturers disguised as YouTubers. So whatever information they're going to give you is going to be suspect. Obviously, if you could afford the $5,000 to get a better night vision, you would do that, right? The reason why you were purchasing um digital instead of analog is because you don't have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 to spare on a night vision unit, right? Like, have you heard about the stuff with the recession, the way the economy is? They're saying that the average American doesn't even have $1,000 in savings. So if you don't have $1,000 in savings, how on earth are you gonna afford night vision? Hold on, I got a comment. I gotta put my glasses on. I'm good. Let me make sure I'm looking at your name right. It's what Adam has quick. Let me know how to pronounce it. If I pronounce it wrong, sorry about that. But anyway, but thanks for your comment. That's the issue, right? So what people are really looking for is something that you can use that the average person can afford. And really, the NVG30 is out of price range for the average person because it's 300 bucks. Most people don't like the PVS 18s, which is kind of like a digital version of a what is it? What is it? The PVS 7, not PVS 7s, PVS 13s, I believe, right? So really your only choice if you are on a budget would be the COD ones, like the ones made by this company that built this unit. I'll show you here. By Jack Pacific, right? And these are fine as a toy, but the camera quality in here isn't good. I purchased this only so that when I'm testing my night vision stuff, like my scopes that are supposed to have a night vision mode, or I'm supposed to have an IR illuminator, I want to see that I actually have what I paid for. And so if you don't have a night vision camera that's capable of detecting that, you won't know. So that's why I purchased that. But I paid like $30 for this one. So it's not really a viable option for you to have as a night vision unit. I mean, I've seen people take like pieces of carpenter, not carpenter, what is it called? I don't remember what exactly that stuff is, but I've also seen people bend like sheet metal and put one of these dovetail mounts on here, and that will get you in the night vision, right? Cheaply, but the issue with this particular unit Same issue with the COD ones, both of them, is that the lighting is too bright because you have all those lights and you can't control them independently. Where this one, you only have one IR illuminator on this side, and on this side here is an ordinary flashlight, right? So that would be the easiest difference between something like this and one of those. Because, like, let's see here, if I cut it on, my battery should be okay. So that battery is just for the strobe light. Okay, so that's just a regular flashlight, right? And I'll cut that off. And then if I cut it on, I gotta remember, because I'm looking at it backwards than the way I normally have it. It's on my head. I believe this is the button. Yeah, that cuts it on. So if I were to hit this button here, wait, it went down a little bit, but that's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything. That cuts the IR illuminator on. Let's see, should it's on? Yes, it's on. I don't know if you can see the IR illuminator. Let's see what we got here. Let's. There we go. I know I heard it click it. I know the IR illuminator's on. There we go. You can see it. So if you see that one, that our illuminator is on, it's a lot better than having all these extra ones on a unit like this. Let me cut the lights back on. So if I were to cut this guy on, I don't know if these show up that good on camera. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, you can see them. So now, like, they're not that bright, but this camera I'm using, you can see the IR illuminators when they're lit. So let's see here. Let's see. That's the difference, right? You got all those. So this one has the other side on. You can see it's lit. Versus just one. So that's the issue with something like that. If you're trying to get into any of the night vision at a budget, because there's really no such thing as a budget night vision bill, right? And also, too, if you get one of these, you want to know how to cut this backlight off, which is annoying. You just hold it like that, and then it cuts off. So I'm gonna cut this back off because I need to charge it. All right, let's see here. Let me cut it back up. Replace. Perfect. So that's one of the other issues I had found out about it. I couldn't figure out how to cut the backlight off because that wasn't covered in the manual. So I had to just figure that out with trial and error. When you look here on the inside of it, it has this micro SD card and the USB where you can charge it. I found out the hard way that it's a little space in between. Here would be maybe somewhere around Like it's like a slight gap right in there. So if you're not sticking the SD card in exactly the right way, it'll fall inside of the unit, which is not what you want. But as long as you know that, then it's not an issue. That's another thing I found out. Here's the main issue that I really have with this is that it has a 3 times magnification by default. You can't really get it zoomed in anything other than like when you say, for instance, whenever you look through it, instead of it being like here, if I looked at this wall, instead of it looking like this, it's zoomed in like this. So because of that, what I found out is that I need something that's called a reduction lens. And because this unit's already designed to have an external lens anyway, I thought to myself, well, which lens could I use to give it the right magnification? So that's what I'm working on now. I ordered what should be because I asked one of these engineering programs where you can ask questions. I put in the specs. And so it told me that the type of lens that I would need would be a 0.5x magnification lens. So it should work. That's what I'm waiting on now, getting my lens. And once I get the lens, I can see whether or not I can actually control the magnification and make it normal magnification. Because if I can just get it to like normal magnification, right? And I just stick it right here with where a lens is already designed to go, because that's all this is. This is just a lens. But this lens here, you can see it as an IR filter. So like in the daytime, you would use this lens if you're just filming, and that way you can block out IR light. But like at night, obviously you would remove this so you can see when you cut the IR illuminator on. So if that works the way it should, and it will, it's just a matter of finding the correct lens, because a reduction lens does work on the magnification on it. I just need to find the right one. But if the 0.5x magnification lens works and it gives this normal magnification, then this will be perfect. That's the only issue I really see. I don't really like the illuminator as much because they are. Okay, let me see. It's Comic Gray. It says, Dane, that is awesome. Where did you get it? So I got it from AliExpress. I don't know if you're still there because sometimes YouTube acts crazy to see it messing with the chat in the stream, and so if it disconnected you, I don't know if you're still there, but yeah, I bought it for AliExpress, and I paid. Originally, it was supposed to be $150. No, sorry about that. Scratch that. It's 3 variants. I know I'm rambling, but it's a little late. I initially purchased the $180 one, but they gave me a discount, so I ended up purchasing it for $150 because this one has a 4K camera in it, and all of them do not have the 4K camera. But if you look at it, for $150 for this, 80 for the helmet, and Another 70 for the mount. You can't go wrong for this price. Obviously, like I said, if you can afford to get the analog, but times are tight, and at least you have something versus nothing. So with this one, you can still see, I think it's fairly good in the dark. One thing I've noticed with it, walking around with it at night outside, I can see very good in almost complete darkness. Like if you're outside those conditions, you very rarely will you ever see a complete dark, like pitch black, like you're inside of a cave or something. And if you're in some kind of conditions like that, that's not really natural anyway. So you would use your IR illuminator. And that is the same for analog as well. Analog really will not function where you can see anything in complete darkness. It's only can amplify light, and if there's no light to amplify, you're not going to see anything. So, but obviously, like I said, analog is the best if you can afford it. But if you can't afford it, then this is not a bad option. And really, you only have three options that are really decent for the price. That would be the NVG 30. And what I don't like about those is the NVG 30 has square screens. Although it does have white phosphorus mode and it does have green mode. This one does not. It only has the black and white, kind of mimicking IR, not IR, mimicking thermal. Normally, when you have a thermal, it's in black and white. That's the way this one is. It's either in color or black and white. The first mode of IR is in color. So that's one good thing. But that's just kind of one of the limitations of it. But the main limitation that I found, like I said, was the magnification issue. And as you can see, it's by default, the lowest setting is 3, right? I don't know if you can see that. I would like it to have been like 1 or 0, but it's not. But like I said, that lens that I got, I'm going to test it and see what that fixed the magnification issue. It should reduce it because it is a reduction lens. And from what I could see, the lenses are pretty cheap. I bought one from Amazon. Oh, I never did tell you where I got. I did all that rambling. I purchased this from AliExpress. So I'm not sure which shop it was, but you just search Z9157 and it'll come up. That way you can search for it if you want it. Other than that, it's fairly good. I mean, I have used it. It works fine. I used it at night when we had the storm because poor people in North Carolina, we got hit first because I live in Florida. And luckily, the storm at the last minute, it went a little slightly to the west because it was supposed to be a direct hit for my city when it was a category 3, but then it moved a little bit to the west, so it hit a different city. It still went through my city a little bit, but the brunt of the damage was in the next county over. And it was kind of like the rural part of my city where it kind of hit the outskirts, but it devastated the next county over. So during that time when the hurricane had happened and all the lights were out, I did testing on it to see exactly what I could see outside and everything. And I'm pretty impressed with it. A few other things that I noticed, I need some type of anti-glare because I've noticed that this thing loves to pick up reflections in the lens. So if anything reflects on the lens, if you're in complete darkness, I've noticed seeing images of what was reflecting on the lens. And I noticed that happens sometime. Or when I'm looking out a window, sometimes I'm getting like the reflection off of the window. But anti-glare coating on a lens should fix that. So when I replace the lens for the reduction lens, it has an anti-glare coating, so that should work. So if that works, that's most of the issues with this solved. And that way, if you guys decide to get one, you won't have to go through all the learning curves and try to find all the stuff that's already been done. So you can just, leapfrog from there, and you can get to using the unit. Now, some people need to make, like I said before, it needs to be better mounts for this one, other than the one that's on here. But if people start purchasing it and people see there's a market for it, I'm pretty sure they will start building upgrade parts for it. And like I said before, as long as the lens reductor works, there's no reason why you can't 3D print a holder or some kind of mount for it to work. So that's really what I'm waiting on now. It should be here Thursday. And when I get it, I'll be able to find out whether or not it actually will work and it'll give me normal magnification or not. Because that's the issue. Like, the good thing about these is because even though it's dual eyes when you're looking through it, you still have a little bit of peripheral view on both sides of you, and you can look kind of like on the ground while you're walking. So it's not uncomfortable to walk around, even though it's zoomed in. It's still pretty comfortable to wear it when you're looking through. I just don't like it being zoomed in. But one issue that's good about this one that you don't have on a lot of these digital night vision units is the camera is real good. So you can zoom in really well and you can see a lot of other things, observe stuff that you may not normally be able to see. So that's one good thing on it. And let's see. I probably get in this bill now. I guess I would have about what, uh, maybe $300 in it. That's not bad. I mean, considering if you're using genuine parts, you pay more than that for just for the Wilcox mount, and then of course for the not bump helmet. I don't know why I keep wanting to call this bump helmet, the ballistic helmet. So you would pay more than that in the mount in the helmet. So the fact you can probably do a build like this for $300 to $400, that's not bad. And like I said, it's not as good as analog, but you can see very decent at night. The screens are round, so that's good. The viewing screens are both round. They're not the stupid square ones. So whenever I see any screens, to me, like whenever I see these night vision units and they have square screens. What that's saying to me is that whoever manufactured it, they manufactured it out of whatever parts they found laying around on the market. Because they do sell round screens. Like your smartwatch, those are round LED or LCD screens. So you don't have to use square screens for digital night vision. You can use round ones, but they use the square ones because they're the cheapest ones out there. Just my little 2 cent. I detest um square screens in these. 'Cause I've seen some of the night vision units that they have are just like these guys. They almost identical to like this one. They just don't have all these little LED lights on it like that. But and of course, it just told me I got an alert from Amazon telling me that my delivery is delayed. So maybe I won't get my lens Thursday. But yeah, I'll probably go a little bit tomorrow. Me and my son will go out there in the woods and see what it looks like, and I'll get some video footage of it. Because it looks like because of the storm, his guard unit is going to be deployed again, so he's probably going to be gone a while again. So we'll probably go to range and get some footage and do some things like that. Then before all that happens, so I can have some time to get more content, videos. But at least I can say this about it too. At least the company that manufactured this put effort into the way they wanted it to look. Now, that's probably because the company that makes these, they do make a Chinese knockoff of the PVS-7. But a few things on this unit that I don't understand why they did it this way is that this particular one, the battery removes here at the bottom. I don't know why they didn't use the regular PVS-7 housing since they're like a polymer or plastic. I don't know why they went through the trouble of making a separate housing because this company actually makes a housing just like this without all the buttons on it, but it's a PVS-7, so it's an analog. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't design it, so I don't know why they did that. Something else that's new, if you didn't see the beginning part of the video. So I originally purchased this from, I believe it was ATI, whatever that company is that sells like the PVS-7s, the digital, no, the analog ones. But this mount would not work. This adapter, not mount. This is supposed to be like the bayonet style adapter, and it's supposed to work on this Naruto mount, but it doesn't. And even if it did, this wouldn't fit this one, even though they look similar. But this one, this little piece here is different, and this one won't fit in here. Now, it could just be they make a different style Rhino. Maybe that's what's going on here. But whenever you order in the stuff that's Chinese, a lot of time it doesn't really give you a good description, so it's kind of hard to know which one you want. eat unless you know exactly what it's called. And since I don't know what it was called, I just did my best by what they had. That's why I read you don't even waste your time with this. Now that has both mounts, that has the Wilcox style mount and the bayonet style. So you would just replace this little piece here at the bottom. So if you get that one, it's better than one like this, but you would be better off by, excuse me, this mount instead, because this mount has more adjustment. So that's what I suggest you do. Yes, this mount is slightly better, but I mean, it's not slightly better, slightly more, but it's a better mount and you'll be a lot happier with it. And stay away from the plastic one. That's just going to be a recipe for disaster because it looks good and it's $7, but it's going to break on you because it's plastic. Anytime you start using these little cam levers and stuff and moving stuff up and down, it's plastic. That's going to break on you. So I know that the price is low, but like I said, just spend the extra bucks and get the metal one. Now the real one of these mounts are, if I believe correctly, they are titanium, while these mounts are made out of aluminum. It does have like a little piece, both of them have like a little piece on here that's polymer, but for the most part, the mounts are all made out of aluminum. And so therefore aluminum is a lot more durable and you should have a lot more time. And like I said earlier, just buy you a inexpensive ballistic helmet to use. If you're using this just for like what I'm using this for, just as something to hold your night vision on. I'm not using this for ballistic protection because what I don't understand is why would you buy a bump helmet unless you're buying a bump helmet because you're riding an ATV or something like that, or you don't want the added weight of a ballistic helmet. It makes no sense of buying a bump helmet when you could buy the ballistic helmet. Because like I said, I'm not using a ballistic helmet for head protection. The reason why I purchased it was because of this mount. This mount is aluminum and the rails are aluminum. So normally, well, not normally, a lot of these mounts are plastic. So since that's not plastic and that's not plastic, it's worth the price of it right there. And it looks pretty good. I mean, if you go out with this, you don't look dumb. Like I said, I'm not shaming anybody for getting what they can afford. But a lot of times the COD night vision set, I believe, which one was it? Is it? I don't remember which Modern Warfare, which one it was, but the first one that they had that's supposed to be a PVS-7, but a real bigger one, you're gonna pay more money for that than you will for one of these. And if you bought the quads, you're definitely gonna pay more money for that than you would for these. And this one is going to give you a lot better picture and it's better in every way. The only benefit to those are that they're in green and then they also make it like the black and white image. But other than that, there's no advantage to having those other than being a collector's item. Now, for collecting, they're fine. I might buy me one at some point just use because I had a game and as a collector's item, but not for the night vision usage. So hopefully this helps you if you want to see if you can give a go at a low budget of night vision because night vision is expensive. Now, one thing that you're gonna want is you're gonna want an IR illuminator. I do have one on the I had that Pick 15 on the AR that I use, and so also my shotgun has an IR illuminator, so that helps. God, my eyes are starting to burn. Got something in my eye, I guess, or dust or something. I don't know what it is. And that's a good thing. I mean, if you're using, a lot of people are using their weapons lights, so it's not as critical about the IR illuminator that it comes with, even though this is a good one. My only gripe is it's not completely invisible. You can see the red light. And anybody that knows anything about night vision, if you see any red light glow it's dim, you already know it's somebody with night vision. Because even the analog night visions, they come with IR illuminators, or either you're going to use the one on your weapon. But anybody sees that, they know what time it is. But the only thing about this one, because of the lens, you can kind of observe people from a real long distance. And unless they have a decent night vision where they can zoom in on you, they wouldn't be able to see you. So that's good. But there's more things I want to do to the helmet build. It's not done. I do want to add those ear headset because they look pretty cool with the noise canceling. I just hadn't found the one I want yet. But once I do, I'm gonna put a set of those on it. But all in all, I mean, it's been pretty good. I've tested it in several different locations at dark. I did notice that, like, if somebody's in their house and I'm looking at their curtains, if they're using any type of flame or like an incandescent bulb, the older kinds that actually give off infrared light, I can see it with this because my neighbor's house, when I was looking outside during a hurricane, so my neighborhood, actually my whole city was completely dark. People's houses that had like candles or like the old style incandescent bulbs, I noticed that you can see like that glow. Cause I believe I saw somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe that LED lights don't put out a lot of infrared light anymore, but the incandescent bulbs do, because they're saying that you could take the older style flashlights and put a infrared filter on it, and the only light it would let through would be the not incandescent, sorry. The only light they would let through would be the infrared light versus trying to do that with an LED light, and it really won't be that much light that you can use to illuminate anything with that filter on it, because the LED lights don't give off a lot of infrared light. Now that's just for like a regular light, not a infrared LED, obviously. But don't know if that's true. That's just what I heard. So that's not the case. When you see this video, you can just leave a comment. And that way I know. Yeah, but so far, man, I'm enjoying it. And as nothing else fails, at least it looks pretty cool. Also did a Reddit page that I made. I'm getting around to Discord at some point, but I hadn't did a Discord for it. And basically, what I'm just doing is leaving information for people who wants to play around with it. They can, because most of the time the channels, as I said earlier, they're not going to give this unit a fair shake. They're just going to shame you for not being able to afford the $40,000 night vision. Who has 40 grand laying around just to purchase night vision, right? So that's my only thing. About to get out of here. It's 3 o'clock, and I've talked. How long have I talked? It's been over an hour. So we're not quite an hour yet. It's almost an hour. I thought it was an hour. Well, that's because I don't have my glasses on, so it's hard to see. I'll wait a couple extra minutes to make sure it's quite an even hour. But yeah, based on this, if you get one of these, you should be happy with it. As I said, it is a digital camera. I've noticed sometimes when I'm looking through it, I see kind of like a glare. I'm not sure if it's because I have astigmatism. That's the problem. See, like with when you have astigmatism, you see around light. Like right now, if I'm looking at this, since I'm looking at it with my eye without my glasses on, there's always like a slight haze around the light, like a corona. And if you don't have astigmatism, you may not see that. So that little lens flare that I see in the night vision unit when I'm looking through it, I don't know if that's because I have astigmatism or that's just the way it looks. I only see it in like the infrared, when the infrared light is on in the night vision mode. That's the only time I ever see it. I don't see it like in a regular camera. So that might be something that's just because of my eyes. I don't know. Let's see, I'm almost at the hour mark. But thanks for all the people that have taken the time to look at my videos. I've gotten several new subscribers, so I'm happy and thankful for that. I'm glad that you took the time out to look at my videos. I'm honored about that. I'm glad other people and me, we have all similar interests. Something else I noticed about this on like a dark night and a cloudy night, if you point this at the sky and look up, even if you can't see stars on a night that looks like there's no stars, you can still see the stars with this. I'm assuming it's because it sees through the clouds without any issues. Now I don't know if it's a truly dark night without any stars because the orientation of the Earth isn't facing any stars. I don't know if you may still see some because even if you're at night, there still should be some stars out. So I'm not sure about that. Or haven't known it, but we shall see. Like I said, I'm anxious to get that new lens to see if that solved the issue with it being zoomed in. Because if that fix that issue, man, this will be one of the, in my opinion, one of the best low budget night vision units you can buy. But we'll have to see about that. But I'm about to get out of here. Thanks for everybody who's take the time to come and look at the video. And it's night. I really appreciate it. I might be on tomorrow. We'll see. But thanks for taking the time out to look at my videos. And I'll see you later.